Legendary musician Freddie Mercury and his harrowing battle against AIDS left an indelible mark with his voice and persona. Join us as we uncover the behind-the-scenes fight that changed his life. Shall we begin at the very beginning and work our way up? His real name was Farrokh Bulsara, and he was given that name on September 5, 1946. Freddie Mercury is best known as the lead vocalist and pianist for the iconic rock band Queen. He was born on September 5, 1946. The music industry will be forever changed as a result of his legacy. His tremendous career, which lasted several decades, helped solidify his reputation as one of the most talented singers in the annals of rock music history. Mercury's legacy is defined by his lavish stage persona, which is a reflection of his theatrical approach that broke the rules of a regular rock leader. Mercury's approach was a reflection of his theatrical approach that disputed the rules of a typical rock leader. Mercury went away in the year 1991 when he was 45 years old. Mercury's incredible vocal range of 4 octaves, a gift that enabled him to move fluidly through a wide variety of musical genres, was a significant part of what set him apart from other performers. He was a member of the band Queen, and he was known as Freddie Mercury. Another key component was his captivating persona when he performed. As the driving force behind Queen's creative output, he was instrumental in determining the band's future musical direction, which included challenging preconceived notions and exceeding previously held standards along the way. The musical prodigy, Freddie was born in Zanzibar, but subsequently settled in England. He was a member of the band Queen. In the 1970s, his exceptional talent and singular approach quickly propelled Queen to the rank of international superstars, which they maintained for the rest of the decade. In 1987, Mercury learned that he was infected with the AIDS virus. He continued to record with Queen until the band's final album, Made in Heaven, 1995, which included his contributions after his death. This album was released after he had passed away. In 1991, he passed suddenly at the age of 45 from complications associated to the illness, the day after he went public with the news that he had been diagnosed with it. His death occurred in 1991. In 1992, a concert was held in his honor at Wembley Stadium to raise both money and awareness for the illness that is commonly referred to as AIDS. The period of time during which he was a member of the band Queen was the subject of the biopic Bohemian Rhapsody, which was released in 2018. According to a comment attributed to Montserrat Caballé, a Spanish soprano with whom Freddie Mercury collaborated on the making of an album, the difference between Freddie and almost all of the other rock stars was that he was selling the voice. Mercury was known for his distinctive baritone voice. Mercury was the primary songwriter for 10 of the 17 tunes that were included on Queen's Greatest Hits album. The most remarkable aspect of his songwriting was that he could compose songs at a wide range of genres, including rockabilly, progressive rock, heavy metal, gospel, and disco. His ability to produce songs in such a wide variety of styles made him a renowned songwriter. Rockabilly, progressive rock, and heavy metal are just a few of the various musical forms that he utilized in his music. Mercury gained international renown for his electrifying live shows, which he often performed in front of large crowds that had congregated in stadiums all around the world. He had a very theatrical way of speaking, which frequently got a large number of people in the audience involved in what he was doing. He was an excellent public speaker. It is estimated that Freddie Mercury performed over 700 times with the band Queen throughout a variety of countries on 4 different continents over the course of his career. One of the most striking things was the enormous size that was involved in the Queen performances. Mercury began his official study in piano performance while he was a little boy living in India and continued it until he reached the age of 9. Later in life, when he was living in London, He developed his skills as a guitarist and became an accomplished player. He was a fan of a wide variety of music, and a good deal of it featured prominent guitar work. In addition to a number of singles, Mercury recorded 2 solo albums during his career. Despite the fact that his solo effort was not as commercially successful as other Queen albums, both of his off-Queen albums and several of the tracks debuted in the top 10 of the UK music charts. Mercury reached a critical milestone with this feat. Mercury first shown signs of being infected with HIV and AIDS as early as 1982. In October 1986, Mercury's blood was tested for HIV/AIDS at a clinic on Harley Street. This occurred 2 months after his final live performance with Queen, which took place at Networth House on the Magic Tour. Mercury passed the HIV/AIDS test. Mercury was quoted as declaring that he was perfectly fit and healthy after the test, which was published in a variety of media. Mercury's statement was published. The Mercury test indicated that he was infected with HIV. In late April of 1987, it is said that Mercury was informed that he had AIDS. Mercury mentioned that he had been tested for HIV, and the results showed that he did not have HIV in an interview that took place around that time. Mercury, along with his closest friends and allies, has always denied the allegations. It has been speculated that Freddie Mercury could have been able to have a greater impact on the anti-AIDS movement if he had come forth with his diagnosis earlier. Mercury kept the details of his health a secret from those closest to him in order to protect them. May later stated that Mercury had notified the band about his illness much earlier. Mercury passed away on November 24. Mercury did not disclose his affliction in order to shield those who were closest to him from the effects of it. Mercury called it quits with Queen in June of 1991, which made it possible for him to settle down and retire to his mansion in Kensington, which is located in West London. Mercury was able to accomplish this after Queen disbanded. In his final years, his former partner Mary Austin brought him a great lot of comfort, and in the weeks leading up to his demise, she made sure he was doing well by paying him regular visits to check on him and make sure he was all right. Toward the end of his life, Mercury's vision continued to deteriorate, and he eventually reached a point where he was unable to get out of bed on his own. Mercury passed away. Mercury took the purposeful decision to expedite his own death by deciding to forego treatment and instead rely entirely on opioids. He did this so that he might be with his loved ones sooner. On November 22, 1991, Freddie Mercury called Queen's manager Jim Beach to his home in Kensington so that the two of them could compose a public statement confirming the news of Mercury's sickness. Mercury wanted Beach to write the statement. Mercury revealed his status as an AIDS patient with this statement. "I would like to make sure that you are aware that I have tested positive for HIV and that I do, in fact, have AIDS. This arises as a result of the significant quantity of conjecture that has been reported in the media over the course of the previous 2 weeks. I have made the decision to keep this knowledge a secret from other people for the time being in order to honor their constitutionally protected right to personal privacy. However, the moment has come now for my friends and admirers located all over the world to learn the truth, and I am hoping that everyone will join me, my doctors, and all those located all over the world in the fight against this terrible illness. The time is now here to do this. I am well known for never doing interviews because I hold the protection of my privacy in the highest regard, and it has always been one of my top objectives. It is important that you are informed that we will not be deviating from this practice." Mercury passed away on November 24, 1991, in the evening at his home in Kensington, London, only 24 hours after the statement was made. He had 45 years under his belt. Upon further investigation, it was discovered that the cause of death was bronchial pneumonia brought on by AIDS. At the time of his passing, His good friend Dave Clark, frontman for the band Dave Clark 5, was by his side, maintaining vigil at his bedside. On the phone, Austin informed Mercury's parents and sister of the news, and shortly after, in the early hours of November 25, it was reported by news sources and television crews. Austin had broken the news to them. On November 27, 1991, Freddie Mercury was cremated at the West London crematorium, and the Zoroastrian priest who officiated his funeral was in charge of the proceedings there. A remembrance of Mercury, a pedestal bearing his birth name, has been placed at this particular spot. Freddie Mercury's funeral service was attended by his family, as well as approximately 35 of his close friends, including members of Queen and Elton John, who wanted to pay their respects to him. As his casket was being taken into the chapel, a rendition of Take My Hand, Precious Lord, and You've Got a Friend, performed by Aretha Franklin, could be heard playing in the background. Despite the fact that Mercury spent a substantial portion of his money during his lifetime on humanitarian undertakings and gifts, it was believed that his estate was worth roughly £8 million at the time of his dying. Mary Austin was the recipient of a bequest from him that encompassed both his home, garden lodge, and the neighbouring mews, in addition to 50% of all privately owned shares. He left this to her as the beneficiary of his estate. As a tribute to Mercury after his passing, the outer walls of the garden lodge, located in Logan Place, were turned into a shrine. Graffiti written by mourners paying tribute to Mercury coated the walls of the building. In 1997, No One But You, Only the Good Die Young, was released by the three members of Queen who were still alive at the time of its creation. This song was intended to honor the memory of Freddie Mercury, as well as all individuals who were taken from this world at an excessively young age. A monument of Freddie Mercury stood atop the entrance to the Dominion Theatre in London's West End from May 2002 to May 2014, in honor of the musical We Will Rock You, which was conceived by Queen and Ben Elton. The statue was there for the duration of the run of the musical. Mercury's departure was a landmark event in the annals of AIDS history due to the fact that he was the first big rock star to pass away from problems related with the disease. In addition, he was the first person to pass away from complications associated with the condition. In April of 1992, the members of Queen who were still active at the time founded the Mercury Phoenix Trust and organized the Freddie Mercury Tribute Concert for AIDS awareness for the following month on April 20. The performance was held to raise awareness and funds for AIDS research, while also paying tribute to the life and career of Freddie Mercury. Since that time, the Mercury Phoenix Trust has successfully donated considerable sums of money to a variety of organizations that work to combat AIDS. He was known for his colorful stage presence, as well as his 4-octave vocal range, both of which helped him acquire a reputation as one of the best lead vocalists in the history of rock music. His 4-octave vocal range helped him earn the reputation as one of the best lead vocalists in rock music history. Mercury defied the conventions of a rock vocalist with his extremely theatrical attitude, which inspired the creative direction that Queen adopted with their songs. This attitude also contributed to the band's name, Queen. It is not possible to determine the extent to which the loss of Freddie Mercury may have contributed to the rise in Queen's popularity. In the United States, where Queen's reputation had suffered during the 1980s, there was a notable uptick in album sales in the year that followed the year that he passed away in 1992, which was the year that he passed away. This was the year that he passed away. Since then, Queen have been admitted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2001, and all 4 members of the band have been inducted into the Songwriters Hall of Fame in 2003. Since then, Queen have also won multiple Grammy Awards. After Mercury's death, both of these honors were bestowed to him. Irina Sedleka, a sculptor from the Czech Republic, was commissioned to build a statue of Mercury to be placed in Montreux, which is in Switzerland, overlooking Lake Geneva. It was shown to the public for the first time on November 25, 1996, by Mercury's father and Montserrat Caballé. Brian May and Roger Taylor, two other members of the band, were also present for the ceremony. It exceeds the height of 3 meters. Since its inception in 2003, the Freddie Mercury Montreux Memorial Day Festival has attracted visitors from all corners of the globe who come to Switzerland on the first weekend of September to take part in the festivities. This concert is put on once a year in honor of the artist, and it has been going on for quite some time. Mercury's departure was a landmark event in the annals of AIDS history due to the fact that he was the first big rock star to pass away from problems related with the disease. In addition, he was the first person to pass away from complications associated with the condition. In April of 1992, the members of Queen, who were still active at the time, founded the Mercury Phoenix Trust and organized the Freddie Mercury tribute concert for AIDS awareness for the following month on April 20. The performance was held to raise awareness and funds for AIDS research, while also paying tribute to the life and career of Freddie Mercury. Since that time, the Mercury Phoenix Trust has successfully donated considerable sums of money to a variety of organizations that work to combat AIDS. The results of public opinion polls conducted over the course of the past decade imply that Freddie Mercury's legacy may have gained in importance in the time that has passed since he passed away. Mercury, for example, was ranked 58th on the list of the 100 greatest Britons that was shown by the BBC in 2002. Mercury was a member of the band Queen. The purpose of the vote was to find out who the general population of the United Kingdom thought were the most notable British people throughout the course of the country's history. According to the results of a nationwide poll that was carried out in 2007, he was placed 52nd on the list of the 100 most significant heroes in Japan. The journey that Freddie Mercury made is a terrible reminder of the toll that the AIDS epidemic took on persons as well as communities throughout its course. Freddie Mercury was a member of the band Queen. Not only did he leave an unforgettable impression with his music, but the manner that he inspired others to talk about AIDS also assures that his legacy will live on long after he has passed away. We are really appreciative that you were able to come along with us on this emotional journey through the life of Freddie Mercury and his fight against AIDS. If you thought this video was helpful, please give it a thumbs up, send it to your friends, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any new content in the future. I am grateful. Take care of yourself till we meet again, and remember to always maintain the relentless energy that Freddie Mercury personified in your mind.